UAP are airborne objects that, when encountered, cannot be immediately identified. With regard to the importance of transparency, the Department is fully committed to the principle of openness and accountability to the American people.
We're going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Oh my gosh, dude.
U.S. Navy personnel recorded what appears to be triangles, some flashing. The video was taken through night vision goggles with a single lens reflex camera.
Well, I mean, it's a pretty high-profile incident. I don't claim to be an expert. You're the guys investigating it. I mean, who else is doing it?
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to UFO We Want to Know. This is May 18th, 2024. Before I begin the show, as I always do, this is dedicated to those who have been ridiculed, made fun of, and dragged through the media for the last 76 plus years. For the first segment, I want to talk about this program that came to my attention. And I think it's really important to let you know something about it, at least in my understanding of it. It's called Kona Blue. And so if we can get on with the slideshow, we can, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read some statements and I'll let you read the screen. But what is Kona Blue? And the purpose, it's a Las Vegas technology program, but UFO program, but I'll let you read the screen for the first segment, and I'm going to be talking here while you're reading what's on the screen, and I hope that you can do two at one time. First of all, it was declassified in July 2023, released to the public in February of 2024. We're talking about 7 months here, from the time it was declassified, from the time it was released to us. Now, if you're wondering why that was so, I was wondering myself. So why did Arrow hold on to it for 7 months? And Arrow was the ones who were in charge of this program, primarily because they are the existing UFO program that we have in this country. So they are in charge of releasing data. And whether you want to say the Pentagon is at fault, NASA's at fault, whoever, but Arrow is the ones who have released it, and it took 7 months. Now, if you remember last week's show, Sean Kirkpatrick, I told you that he had threats against him. He wasn't specific. We don't know where the threats came from, whether it be the government itself, since he's no longer the director, or it came from outside sources. But what I do know is this, that they held on to it for 7 months for whatever reason. Once something's released, you can go into FOIA, the Freedom of Information Act, and you can take these documents and download them to your devices. And this is something that should be looked at and asked why it took so long. Maybe Mr. Kirkpatrick didn't want this information released so he wouldn't get any more threats. You know, who knows? But what I do know is that it took too long for them to do this. I'll talk a little bit about Mr. Kirkpatrick since I bashed him a couple of times before, but let me give you a little bit of background on Mr. Kirkpatrick. He's, like I said, he's the ex-director of Arrow. Sean Kirkpatrick, he was is an American laser and materials scientist, and was the first director of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, that's Arrow, at the United States Department of Defense. Kirkpatrick is also an adjunct assistant professor of physics at the University of Georgia. So he has a brain, but whether he utilized his brain in the right capacity towards the ufology question is still a question. Looking at other questionable things that he did when he was the director, is that he was able to see over 850 videos and photos, and at the end results, and we all knew this was coming from the day one when they first introduced the panel, he said what was expected of him, that there's nothing to see, there's no evidence out there, and we're going to continue on investigating. And of course, it could take 20 years and they're going to come out the same sentence. There's nothing there. There's no threat. There's nothing really to see here. It's not a phenomenon after all. So whatever they want to say, they're going to say, and there's nothing we can do about it. So with that, we leave it to Mr. Kirkpatrick and his way of thinking. And I hope that whatever his future endeavors are, I hope that they're well with him. I hope that he can accept life as it is. If we ever have visitors in his lifetime, I suspect he'll probably claim they're not what you see. In this study, there was a lot of different areas of expertise. There's a lot of divisions, a lot of compartmentalized issues here. But again, this program was never enacted. And it's really sad because it was a very comprehensive plan. If you look at what it says in it, and you can download it. Now, there are some questions about the downloading itself. And one site, it said there was 56 pages. When I downloaded it, it was 58. And then yesterday I looked again, and they said there were 62. So I'm not exactly sure what the government's playing a game with us, as they've been doing for the last 76 plus years, or not. But I got 58 pages, and as far as I know, it's complete. You can download this in the Freedom of Information Act. It'll only take you probably 3 seconds to download the whole thing. That's how long it took for me to do it. Kona Blue top secret government program is to investigate human consciousness anomalies that, as far as they're concerned, does not exist, the new report says. Reading on, to date, AARO has found no verifiable evidence for claims that the U.S. government and private companies have access to or have been reverse engineering extraterrestrial technology. The statement says, I'm using these little statements that I get from either the Pentagon released it, or NASA released it, or it's a combination. Kona Blue, as the report explains, was allegedly a top secret program to investigate human consciousness anomalies, retrieval, and exploit non-human biologics. Now that itself tells you an awful lot. What is non-human biologics? Well, obviously they're not from this earth. And reverse engineer any alien craft they find. Okay, so for one thing, for 76 plus years, they've been saying there's nothing to see here. Why are they talking about this in a comprehensive plan? That doesn't make any sense. They're admitting here that this is what they were going to be looking for. It is critical to note no extraterrestrial craft have ever been found. These are their statements, not mine. In the case of Kona Blue, the contract was for $22 million. It was greenlit in 2008 to assess aerospace threats on the horizon, in which was never explicitly tasked with researching UFOs, but was awarded to a private sector. And we know who that private sector was because there was a lot of redactions in the documents, but from what we can gather, Mr. Bigelow was involved here. I believe they were going to use one of his properties. The program was going to be based out of Las Vegas. But the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency canceled it in 2012, considering the program not realistic. In 2008, the aerospace threats on horizon, in which was never explicitly tasked with researching UFOs, was awarded a private sector organization. And again, that goes back to Mr. Bigelow. Some of these statements are conflicting. Kona Blue, the advocates were convinced that the USG, the United States government, was hiding UAPs or UFOs technology. They believe that creating this program under the DHS would allow all of the technology knowledge of these alleged programs to be moved under the Kona Blue program, according to the report. Again, these reports are coming out of either the State Department or the government officials. If you take a look at this, the United States was in possession of a craft of an unknown origins craft had no intake, exhaust, wings, or control surfaces, no engines, fuel, tanks, or fuel. This was Jim Lakosky, and if you don't know Mr. Lakosky, he did a couple of books with a couple of other well-known people, and these people know all about the Pentagon and how they do things. Very important. If you're interested in the insides of the Pentagon, and you know, you can buy these two books here. George Knapp was involved, and see what you think. Personally, I believe that they have a lot going for themselves in this book, these two books. The Pentagon hasn't been forthright with us. We all know that. There's nothing new there. But it is what it is, and we're not going to be able to say too much more about it. This program was never rubber stamped, and as the report says, it was never approved or stood up to data material. And on Friday, they announced, the Aero officials stipulated that they're approaching their review of Kona Blue, and they're not going to enact it. So at that point, when this first came out, it was definitely dead on arrival. So for me personally, I believe that the Kona Blue project was a dead program walking. I don't believe they were going to do anything with it. Now, I've watched over 25 different videos for the last couple of weeks getting information on this particular program, and there was some very notable people on the shows, people you've seen from way back, making statements on this Kona Blue project that never was. And I'll make a statement that none of them have ever made. Somewhere out there is a Kona Blue project. Not this Kona Blue, but there is a program out there that mirrors Kona Blue. And you're not going to hear about it for maybe 3, 4, maybe 10 years. But remember this date in this video, because I'm going to say it. There is a program out there that's going to cover everything in Kona Blue and more. And we'll find out about it later on, because the government doesn't waste millions of dollars on a program that they're never going to work. We'll be back after this message.
Hi, I'm Joseph, the host and creator of UFO We Want to Know. Tune in every Saturday evening on KPVM Pahrump channel 25.1 from 7 p.m. You'll see never-before-viewed videos and photos taken by myself, all over the world.
Thank you for watching. UFO We Want to Know, and remember, yes, they are out there.
Thank you for staying with us. I hope that I know I wasn't as clear as possible in the first segment. You know, some of the videos were 2 hours long on Kona Blue, but I had to squish everything in 12 minutes. The point is that this program, Kona Blue, should have been enacted, and should have been for the American taxpayers. That was my point. On this second segment, we have 2 videos and 13 photos to show you, and I want you to pay close attention for this first video, as all of them, but this one I want to show you something that happened. So let's play the first video. You're going to notice there's a rather large object coming towards the sun. You'll see it right there. Rather large object. That wasn't a lens flare, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll prove that to you. Lens flare is to the right, upper right. You see that right there that just moved? That's a lens flare, the smaller object to the upper right of the sun. And this object was floating through. Now, it actually came out of that thick cloud to the bottom right of your screen, and it came all the way up. What we did is we slowed this video down 90%, and at the same time, we cut out between 10 and 15 UFOs that we've seen. The reason why we cut them out is because I'm focusing on this large UFO right there. And this had to be a very large one because it came from beneath that cloud right there you're seeing. And you can actually see it, if you slow it down more, you can see it in front and behind that cloud when it came through. Very, very large craft. That's it. Now it looks almost invisible, but ladies and gentlemen, this craft was flying so fast that we slowed it down 90%. 90%. Now remember, this was taken in slow motion. So if you think that it was maybe an invisible blur, something with the camera, I don't think so, because on the stop motions we'll prove that. So after this one here, we'll go ahead and go to the first photo. That's it right there. So I want you to understand this was a solid object. You can see just above it, that's a lens flare. And then of course to the left of it is the sun. But that object was there, and it was solid. A little bit of a close-up of it. You got the three little areas there, the object itself. And as we get closer, you'll see what I'm talking about. You see that? Now, when I compared the lens flare to that, the lens flare stayed white. The object did not. And that's how I know that it isn't a ghost image. A lot of people do say that those are ghost images. They're not real. It could be a sun flare from the device you're using. But no, this was a UFO. In the very beginning of this video, there was actually another one in the very beginning. And it was going from left to right up, and it would across this UFO. And it was rather large itself. But I wanted to show this one specifically because of the fact that it was really large. And to be that large, that far up, can you imagine how large this craft would be if it came down to Earth? We're zeroing in on it still, giving you an idea. And we have the final photo of it. I try to enlarge it the best I could without distorting it. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a very large craft. I can't imagine how big it was, but for us to see it that far up in our atmosphere, and it was in our atmosphere because it was between our clouds. Now, our clouds do not go out of our atmosphere. That at least we could see with the naked eye. But if I can see this one going in between the clouds, yeah, it was in our atmosphere. So when next time the scientists tell you, well, they're not in our atmosphere, you're seeing it out of our atmosphere, you tell them about the show and tell them that I'm calling them liars, outright liars. Mainstream scientists need to get with the program. People are really getting sick and tired of all of their lies. And I do know that they have to say what they say to get paid, because most of them are being paid through the government system, and they may be part of a school, and the schools themselves, they don't want to admit to it because they don't want to be called the loony schools, and that's fine. You have to live your life as life is. So let's go on with the next video. And this was an unusual one. You remember the last week, actually the last couple of weeks, I've been talking about how these craft have been doing these fantastic maneuvers. But take a look at this one. Now this is an F-18 Super Hornet, or it is not a 22 Raptor. This is a UFO. Look at this make a turn. Look at that. Now for our craft to make a turn like that, it would fall apart. Ladies and gentlemen, this video was slowed down by 50%, taken in slow motion and slowed down by 50%. Now you tell me, how fast was this object traversing our atmosphere and making that turn? You tell me how fast it must have been going. If it was taken in slow motion and slowed down by another 50%, that craft had to be moving in the Mach range. And again, our craft cannot do this. We simply can't do this. If you like what you're seeing on my videos and photos on my show, please give me a like and also subscribe to me. You'll get all notifications. You can also find me in the Pahrump Alien Guy on YouTube, and you can see all my shows. But again, take a look at this craft. Isn't that incredible for it to make that kind of maneuver. Now you think you're seeing 3 or 4 UFOs. It's not. It's just one single UFO. This would be the last time we're going to loop this, but there's only one, but it's going by so fast the camera can't keep up with the spreading of the shot. That's where you saw it, right there, when it started to make its turn. A little bit of closer. Now I tried to get it so there was only one dot in the air. And I say dot because we know it's a UFO, but for simplicity, we'll just say dot. And then as we get closer, you can actually see it. Again, you know, here on Earth, us Earthlings, we use the sharp edge of our aircraft for the aerodynamics. You would think this was going from left to right. This craft was going right to left. The large part of it was facing our atmosphere. Again, as I've said how many times, they're not touching our atmosphere. Now you can see there's a little bit of light around it. As you can see here, there's light all around it. Remember this, according to our scientists who at least speak out, they call the dark area density. Now sometimes when we see these craft, you'll see the blue, the dark blue, then inside of it you can actually see a darker area. Well, I don't know if that's the actual craft inside that dark blue. It could be my filtering system. Who knows? But the lighter blue that you see around it, I believe that's the electromagnetic charge that these craft utilize to traverse our atmosphere. It's a blow up of it. And I think I have one more, or is that it? Okay, that was it. So here it is. So ladies and gentlemen, now what I did when I got the software on this last photo here, you notice I turned it like a purple haze there, and I did that for a reason. I did that because sometimes you actually get a real defined inner area, and which I call possibly the actual craft and what it looks like. But again, it kept the light area around it, which I believe is the electromagnetic charge coming out of this craft. Okay, so that ends the 2 videos and the 13 photos. You know, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard me several times before, and I'm going to keep repeating this because I think it gets the goats of some of the people who are in the know. When scientists and people like the Pentagon, NASA, SETI, when all these organizations say that they're constantly searching the cosmos and constantly saying that there's nothing here, there's no evidence, how can they say those things when clearly on this show here we're showing these objects going in the Mach range? I'm not going to even say supersonic. I'm saying Mach range up. There's no way that our aircraft, the best aircraft in the world, the F-22 Raptor, the F-18 Super Hornet, even the F-16, they can't do maneuvers like I'm showing here on these shows. So how is it that the government can spew this negative news that there's nothing to see here? Now I know that the Air Force is charged with making our skies safe and secure, but when you can't make something safe and secure, in this case the skies, you're going to go into panic mode. And I believe this is what's happened for many, many years. In the 50s, when we started having UFOs engage our pilots back even then, in the 50s and 60s, and we were looking at going to the Mach range, even the F-15 was up there going, I believe it was Mach 2, Mach 3, and the pilot said that a UFO passed him as if he was standing still. That should tell you a lot. Now you can look at these, download these, and you can look for yourself. And look what these pilots said back then. They said there was something up there, and it passed them, and it made them seem like they were standing still. And they were going Mach 3? Does that make any sense to you? So if the government wants to keep lying like this, if NASA wants to keep lying like this, never a straight answer, that's fine. Let them keep lying. But you should know that these UFOs are flying in and around our atmosphere at any given time. whenever you're walking about, driving about, they're above your heads. They're not bothering us. They've been here for millennia. And I'm not talking about just millennia. I'm talking about a good million plus years. They've been here. We're just the new kids on the block. But we're making a lot of noise, and they don't care for it. They're monitoring us. They're going to continue monitoring us until they're ready to show themselves. We'll be back after this message.
Hi, I'm Joseph, the host and creator of UFO We Want to Know. Tune in every Saturday evening on KPVM Pahrump Channel 25.1 from 7 p.m. You'll see never-before-viewed videos and photos taken by myself, all over the world.
Thank you for watching. UFO, we want to know and remember, yes, they are out there.
Thank you for staying with us. We have another 2 videos and 13 photos to show you. So let's get on with the first video. What is that flying across your screen, ladies and gentlemen? Is that an ant? I didn't see a cape on it, so it wasn't Superman. You know, sometimes when I see these videos for the first time, I always think about the joint statements of the Pentagon and NASA, and I always think of, what are they talking about? Now, you see that white, big, huge white cloud in the background there? This object is on this side of that cloud. Is it? It's on this side of the cloud. Now, in some areas, you'll notice that it goes through the cloud. I'll show you the next time when it comes around. I'll show you what I mean. It's coming down right now. And right there, it disappears a little bit in the cloud. There's no mistake. This isn't an insect. This isn't an airplane, a jet. This isn't anything but a UFO, an unidentified flying object in our atmosphere, because it's on this side of the clouds. It's not above the clouds. It's on this side of the clouds. How many times do I got to say that? I hope to say that until I burst one of these scientists' heads, because of the fact that they keep lying on television and saying there's nothing there. There's something there. It's called a UFO. It's called an unidentified flying object. These objects are being flown by intelligent beings, far superior to anybody on this planet. They are non-terrestrial officers, whoever are flying these craft. You just got to say it. And it makes me feel good when I get a good video like this. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, these videos are not 5, 6 years old. This video here was taken on May 10th, 2024 at 1:31 p.m. May 10th, just last week. So if you know any scientists out there, let them know. Tell them to take a look at this video and tell them, can you explain this to you? And if they say it's a comet or an asteroid, where's the flame that's supposed to be coming out of the excess gas that's supposed to be coming out of it? This will be the last loop, and we'll go to the first picture. But take a look at that. It's in our atmosphere, no mistake about it. Now I took a still of it. What I did was I tried to take a still, again, like I said previously, where there's not a lot of entrails. I tried to take a solid shot of it, and this is probably about the best I can do. I didn't want to wait till it got real far away from me, so I took it as closely as I possibly could in the video itself. Now this UFO is going to look kind of square to you, but you've seen how fast it was traveling. So there's no way in the world it was square, but the optics may seem like that way to you. Remember, this was taken on May 10th, and today's the 18th. So just a little over a week ago it was taken. I put a little of my laptop's software on it, see if I can get maybe a more solid core inside of it. That's about the best I could do to it. A little grainy there. Let's do the last one here. Okay, so take a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Now remember, this was going really, really fast. And on this one here, number 36, we slowed it down 50%. Now the video itself was about 1 minute 14 seconds long. We cut it down to about 14 seconds. And again, we slowed it down 50%. But take a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. This craft was really moving. And whether it's the electromagnetic charge or, you know, for all we know, this one here doesn't show a lot of discolorment around the craft. It could have been a plasma drive where it doesn't give off the same as an electromagnetic drive. Who knows? Now, I'm not a scientist, but I'm assuming, because on this craft right here, it seemed to have given us a lot of a crumply look. It's not a solid base like I usually get. But again, you saw it for yourself. This was really traveling very fast. And as fast as you saw it, it was taken in slow motion again and slowed down 50%. Can you imagine how fast this craft was actually going? Now, when I'm out there videotaping, I never hear any sonic booms. I never see anything in the sky. It's rare when I do see something in the sky. Usually it's a probe that's just sitting there. And I'll be showing you a bunch of probes in later videos coming up. But I think this right here tells you an awful lot. Why is it giving me this type of image? I tried different ways to produce this, and this is about the best I can do as far as representing it to you. So okay, let's go on to the next video. And I think you'll enjoy this one here. This one here, and I'm going to show you a couple of these videos with a similar view. Now on the very bottom of that, that's my house. You see the UFO coming down. Now on this one here, I apologize, but there was actually a couple of UFOs in this video, but I only got one. I'm only showing one because I want you to see it. This video here is my number 43 on it. We slowed it down another 50% on a slow motion. It was a total of 57 seconds long, but we had to cut it because you'd be sitting there watching for a whole minute, this thing just slowly coming down. This is not an airplane. This is a UFO, and I'll prove it from the pictures, but it was coming down rather fast, but we had to slow it down so you could see it. That right there in the bottom of the screen, the tip there, that's the top of my house. I'm believing, and I'm going to say this very sincerely to you, I believe that this is a UFO flight path. How many UFOs have I shown you of UFOs over my house? Can anybody guess? If you look at my videos, we're probably talking about maybe 10 to 15, and I'm going to keep showing because I've got more. This was taken on April 19th, 2024 at 11:57 a.m. in my front yard. Now, what I've been doing here, ladies and gentlemen, is I've been putting a lot of my stuff in my databases. But before I put this one in my database, this was going back to April 19th, I wanted to show it before I put it away. I have extensive databases. They're not all in one place for security reasons, and it is what it is. But before I put this one away, I wanted you to see it, even though it's not a week old, which I usually do. But I wanted you to see this. So after this, we'll go ahead and go to the first photo of it. Look at it just take off. In some cases, it was just moving, but it was seemed to be going slow, and then it started to rapidly take off. I circled it here, showing you that where the UFO was. See in the full picture. Again, that was my house in the bottom that you saw. A little bit of a darker image here of it. Now, when I darken it, I do it for a reason, and that's so that on your TV screen you'll be able to see it a lot better than just what I see here on my my phone, or even on the studio here. Enlarging it up a little bit. This one here was quite unusual. Now, some people would say, well, when you darken the sky or you change the background, you're going to change the image itself. The image never changed as far as the outside. As far as colorization, who cares? You're not going to see writing on these craft, so why would you care? There seems to be a split down the middle of it. That just came with the photo. As we get closer, you can see that this is not an airplane by any means. If it was an airplane, there's no wings, there's no tail. It looks like something you would see from a sci-fi movie. Yet this is what was flying over my house, and I get a lot of these pictures. So let's show the last one, okay? And there's a little bit of brightness to it, and I didn't change it, but as I came in on it, it seemed to have gotten a little bit lighter. Maybe I was losing the focus on the UFO itself. But if you look at this craft, ladies and gentlemen, as it was flying over my house, this is not an airplane. This is a UFO. It could be a very large probe, because it seemed to be really far up there. But when it was coming down, it came down kind of like in a glide. Now, some of these that I take very similar to this, they'll come down and they'll make really quick movements, almost as if it's sputtering. But this one here came down in a very smooth flight path, very unusual. But you saw the end results. This is not an airplane. It's not a jet. This is an alien craft, and it's in our atmosphere. I keep saying it because every time I look at these reports, and I get a whole bunch of them on my phone. I get them every single day. The NASA files, the Pentagon files. I get them all. And what I see there and what I read, it just irritates me because what they're saying and what I'm doing are two different things. I don't know what planet they're on, but the planet I'm on is Earth. And for what I'm seeing UFOs. I don't know how else to say it. And if I keep saying it enough, maybe they'll finally talk to me and say, okay, they're UFOs. Big deal. They've been flying around for 76 plus years. Okay, well, big deal itself. You keep calling us crazy. You're the crazy ones, not us. As far as I'm concerned, if we ever get a landing of one of these craft in a metropolitan area, I'm gonna go out, and I don't drink, but I'm gonna go out and get drunk, because that to me is a vindication to all the people that have been ridiculed over the years, made fun of, and actually had their lives ruined. I talked about police officers that did chase. They chased a UFO in several different counties. 6 out of 7 of them left their professions because of all the laughing and ridicule and dragged through the media that happened to those officers. Very fine men, and they had to pursue different professions because of what the government and the newspapers did to them. That itself should be against the law. We'll be back after this message.
Hi, I'm Joseph, the host and creator of UFO We Want to Know. Tune in every Saturday evening on KPVM Pahrump Channel 25.1 from 7 p.m. You'll see never-before-viewed videos and photos taken by myself, all over the world.
Thank you for watching. UFO We Want to Know, and remember, yes, they are out there.
Thank you for staying with us for the last segment. We have 2 videos and 21 photos. So let's get on with the videos. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the very bottom there, that's the corner of my house, the top of it. And this UFO was coming down right over my house. This is not the same video. This is another video. It's not the same one. I'll make that very clear. This was also taken April 19, 2024 at 11:57 a.m. And it was in my front yard. For those who may say, well, it might be the same video, it's not. I have a lot of these videos coming over. What I do is I go out in the front yard and I stand 10 feet away from my the highest point of my house, and that's the little peak there that you're seeing at the bottom of the screen, and that's where I take the videos. And I do this for a reason, is because I have a lot of success of getting these UFOs that fly over there. Sometimes I'll take one for just 17 seconds, some I take as long as 2 minutes, and eventually a UFO will fly through that area. So that's why I've said in the last segment, I think that might be a flight path. Right after this, we'll go ahead and go to the first video, photo rather, of this stop motion that I'll be taking. It's quite interesting when I get these UFOs. Sometimes I'll darken the background so you get a better idea of it, and that gives me an idea of how I'm going to present it to you on the show. But these UFOs, specifically this one here seemed to have a erratic movement as it was coming through the atmosphere and down towards my house. Now it made a different turn than the other ones. The other ones seemed to be coming down from upper right to bottom left. This one here was going on the opposite direction. It came around, was going to the right. So that was kind of different for me. And maybe that's why I had a hard time finding it. Now, when it was coming down quite fast. And when I saw it, it seemed to have a kind of like a blur to it. It's kind of hard to explain. I know that photographers have their own language when they talk about these craft, these objects. When they catch them, they have certain terms for them. I don't particularly know them, but it seemed to be almost invisible. Maybe it was starting to go invisible. Again, this was a video that was taken in slow motion, and we slowed this one down 50%. The one previous was slowed down 90%, but this was slowed down 50%. And interesting. Okay, I'm looking at my notes here. I apologize. This was slowed down 90%. The next one would be slowed down 50%. So I get so many of these UFOs, and when I go over my own notes, sometimes I can't get things straight, but that just goes to show you. Here's the next video, and again, that's my house right there. That's my neighbor's house. And you're going to see two UFOs coming from north, and they're going southwest. These two objects are heading southwest. And these are not birds by any means, ladies and gentlemen. They're not birds. And I'll show it to you when I show you the stills on it. But when they were coming out, when I first saw this video, I said to myself, those look like blackbirds. But I kept watching them, and this was taken in slow motion, and they were slowed down by another 50%. And the reason why is because they're going to take off, and I was still shooting this in slow motion, but all of a sudden they started to really just take off like rockets. And I'm not exactly sure if I moved my camera and I took off slow motion and it went back to regular motion. But have you seen how fast they were moving? Even if they were birds, they couldn't have flown away that fast. Now what I did is I took my optics and I took a look at what they looked like close up, and there was no flapping. There was no bird flapping. So yeah, these were UFOs, and this will be the last video loop of it, and then we'll go to the photos of it so you can get a better idea what they look like. There they are, and one of them is kind of shaped almost like a diamond shape, really neat, and the other one had a saucer shape to it. But they were flying together, no doubt. Take a look for yourself. And again, look around the craft. You've got light around the craft. As we get closer, you tell me if these were birds. As fast as they were flying, no way could a bird do that. Not even on a dive could they do that. You tell me what you think you're seeing here, ladies and gentlemen. These craft didn't seem to be that far away from me. Now, my new neighbor is doing some construction work, and that's why I thought I'd go back there and start taking some pictures. I wasn't taking pictures of their house, but I just happened to be utilizing my wall to steady my camera, and because I didn't have my tripod out. But take a look at that, and you tell me what you thought that they were. Now, above it, you see the one on top? I focused on that for these next rounds of videos, photos rather. Getting a little bit mixed up here with all my paperwork. And what I've seen on here is a craft that was lighter, much lighter than the two dark craft. And so in this video, there was actually 3, but I didn't catch it fast enough so I can really do some analysis on it. But this gives you an idea that this craft that was on top of the 2 craft that you saw on the bottom, the 2 darker ones. A lot of movement. Now this craft was going in the same direction as the other 2. They were all heading southwest. Usually I get craft coming from the west going east or southeast, and but this is unusual for me. I've never caught craft going this way, so I thought that was kind of unusual. A little bit of close-up of it. And yeah, it looks like there's 2 of them, isn't it? Maybe if they were flying one a little bit further away from the other, the one in front, maybe it was a little bit closer than the one in the back, but I think there may have been 2, not 1. But I get these craft every day, ladies and gentlemen. I get these craft every single day, and there's, you know, I can't say this enough. These craft are flying in and around our areas, not just Pahrump, but all around the world. This was taken on April 15th at 12:25. April 15th, 12:25 p.m. a.m. And like I said, they were heading southwest. Let's go to this one here. Now, I wanted to put this one out. This was not a video. This was a stills that I took. And interesting enough, this craft stuck around, ladies and gentlemen, for whatever reason, it stuck around for 10 minutes. And the reason why I know that is because I had taken quite a few pictures, and I went back and I actually saw this same craft. It didn't move. Now, that's my tree line right there in my backyard. And that's how I know it didn't move, because all the pictures, it was in the same exact area. It's funny because near the end, when I was getting ready to stop taking pictures, I noticed that it started to move to the south, which would be coming towards me. And this craft, I believe, was a probe. As we get closer, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. Very light. And at first I thought it was going to be like a tic-tac shape as I was getting closer. And then as it got closer, I said no. Now I got videos that you're going to see next week that I think it was a tic-tac. I'm not sure, but you'll be able to judge for yourself. Coming in on it, give you a little idea of what it looks like. Again, this craft was not moving. It was stationary. And here's an interesting note here. You got a solid base inside of it, lit up pretty bright, if you ask me. And then you've got a line around it. Do you notice that a lot of the electromagnetic is on the bottom? Now, is it because it's trying to hold itself up? It's holding itself still? Because as I said in last week's video, people in the know said that these craft, when they're taken off, have electromagnetic charge underneath it, and then when it's off the ground, it goes all the way around it. But I think when they're coming to a stop, and those waves that they're using, I think they point them in the direction where they want, if they want to halt something. And I think this might be happening to this craft right here. This is the end result of it, but take a look at that for yourself. This was up there for, like I said, this craft was up there for over 10 minutes, according to all my photos. What do you think it is? Let us know here at UFOWeWantToKnow@gmail.com. Let us know what you think it is. And ladies and gentlemen, that ends my show. But I met a gentleman who I would like to give some airtime to. So if we can show his video and listen to what he's got to say. 3.
Hello everyone, I'm Joe Davis, president of the Rock and Gold Club. We meet here at the Rudd Center September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, and May. In September we go to the electrical center and do one. We've got a group that does go looking for rocks. We got a bunch of rock hounds, and then I got the gold part of it, and I'm going to give a speech tonight on how you can find gold, what's the minimum you got to have to find it.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Joe Davis myself. Very interesting man, and I hope to go out to his gold mine and do some videotaping out there, maybe before it gets too hot. But again, I want to thank him, and I hope him a lot of luck. You can also sign up for his classes that he has down there, as he told you. I want to thank him again. But ladies and gentlemen, that ends our show, but I got to tell you that you've seen them for yourself. I'm getting these UFOs all the time. Why am I getting UFOs all the time? And why does the government keep saying that there's nothing to see here? Please write to your officials out there that you voted for and ask them that same question for me. I hope to see you next week. Thank you very much for watching.
Hi, I'm Joseph, the host and creator of UFO We Want to Know. Tune in every Saturday evening on KPVM Pahrump Channel 25.1 from 7 p.m. You'll see never-before-viewed videos and photos taken by myself, all over the world.
Thank you for watching. UFO, we want to know and remember, yes, they are out there.